Hi everyone, welcome back to Sweet Talk. I am actually in New York right now. I had to come here last minute for some family things, but I've been here for like 3 days or something, and I have to go back to LA tomorrow because I start school on Monday, which I am shitting my pants about for some reason. I don't know why. I've spent the last couple days emailing teachers and getting my plan and schedule together because I feel so not ready to start school. I can't believe summer is already over. It's insane. You know when you were a kid and summer holidays began and you were like, oh my god, summer holidays is so long, it's never gonna end. I have all the time in the world to do everything I want. I can't wait. It's gonna be the best. This summer went by so fast, and I think as you get older you realize time moving by a lot quicker than you did when you were a kid. But this summer was insanely quick. I have a couple theories as to why. I think in the beginning of the summer I was planning my wedding and having my wedding, and I had a lot of family in. There was a lot of planning, there was a lot of appointments, a lot of scheduling. There was a lot to do, so that kind of ate away at the first 2 months of my summer break. I started summer early May, the 3rd of May. I've been off of school for the longest time, but somehow it feels like it just flew by, which is actually terrifying for me. But yeah, I would say that the beginning of the summer I was planning a wedding. Each week was completely jam-packed with things to do. So I would say that is why the beginning went by quickly, and then I guess I was traveling a lot. Yeah, I think I was just super busy this summer. But it's insane that it's already over and I literally start school on Monday. I'm not ready, not prepared, a little nervous. I have a huge show in November that basically dictates whether I graduate and get my degree. And I've been painting not at all. This whole summer I haven't painted once, I haven't drawn once, I haven't done anything to do with my art practice. So I'm kind of freaking out. I'm a little bit nervous that when I start it's gonna be super intense because I'm gonna have classes to do and I'm gonna have to be painting and planning for my show, which I haven't done at all. And I'm like, oh my god, has everyone else in my class been spending this whole summer preparing and I haven't done anything? And I'm so nervous and just feeling so behind. I'm really happy I came to New York for this trip because it's kind of important family stuff, but it's definitely giving me a lot of time to sit and think, and I'm definitely getting a lot of anxiety from that. My imposter syndrome is loud at the moment, and I think just being here, it's pretty quiet. I'm upstate New York, there's not a lot to do, just sort of sitting around with family, eating a lot of food, going on walks. There's nothing distracting me from these anxious thoughts, which is time is moving really fast and I can't help but think that I'm not achieving things the way that I want to be achieving things. And something I have been struggling with forever. I think that in our society, it's really easy to think that success is within one section of life, which is usually your career and making money. And I think we look over the things that also show success, which is good relationships with family, good relationships with friends, giving back, experiencing life as much as you can, seeing new places, having an overall sense of happiness. That is huge success in itself. And I think that I overlook that so much. And I'm like, well, if I didn't do this meeting, if I didn't get this job, if I didn't get these subscribers, if I didn't get these followers, I didn't succeed, I would like to also say, I've had goals in my career that I've achieved, and the minute I achieve them, I'm happy for 2 seconds, and then I'm thinking about the next thing. I'm not spending that much time congratulating myself on achieving the goal. I am always moving on to the next thing, constantly. And I know that I do that. So it's so crazy that I'm judging my success, my life's success on work, when I know that whenever I've achieved anything to do with my career, I'm satisfied for about an hour and then I need to move on and start doing the next thing. Whereas spending time with family and knowing that I'm there for people that need me whenever they do need me, I know that gives me so much satisfaction, but I don't actually tick that off as a mark of success in my life. I don't know. I think that the reason this is on my mind, especially right now, is because I'm currently in New York because there are some things happening, things changing to do with family, and the topic of mortality and life is really apparent at the moment since I've been here. And I'm in this wonderful place, and there are no responsibilities put on me at the moment. I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is be here and be present and be happy. And I'm finding that extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. I like constantly feel like I need to be doing something. I think I need to be achieving something. I think I need to be posting on social media. I think I need to be writing an email to a professor. I need to be doing this and this and this. And I like can't sit still without feeling like I'm wasting my time and time is flying by. And like right now, all that I need to be doing is being here and being present and being there for the people that need me and being helpful. That is all I need to do. And that is all I really should be doing, but I can't relax. I'm finding it extremely difficult. I would blame that on the fact that I'm starting school in a week, but I don't even think that's what it is. I think I'm constantly paranoid about not using my time wisely. I need to be here. I need to be with family, and I want to be here, but I can't get that thing out of my head that's saying like, you should be doing something right now, you should be doing something different, you should be doing something that's working towards your career, that's working towards money, that's working towards subscribers, that's working towards followers. Like, I cannot get that out of my head at all. It's kind of like a weird paradox at the moment though, because in one section of my thinking, I'm thinking, I need to be doing this, I need to be achieving things, I need to be constantly doing the next thing, and I'm almost like wishing my life away, almost, because in any moment that I'm like relaxed or sitting or being with family or something like that, I'm like wanting it to pass quicker. You know, I'm like wanting to go back to LA so I can work, so I can be there, so I can be productive. But I have a couple days here left, and I have the ability 100% to just sit here and enjoy it and be here. But all I'm doing is thinking about how I need to move on, how I need to get on the plane, how I need to get a taxi to the airport, and then I need to get on the plane, and then I need to go, and I have to do all of this stuff before I can get to LA. And then when I get to LA, then I can like start working and start achieving the things that I want. And I'm basically just trying to skip these days, which are really, really important days that I know I'll look back on and completely regret that I had this mindset that I just need to move on and keep moving forward. On the other end of that, I'm faced with the idea of mortality, and I'm faced with the idea that my life is not going on forever, and we have literally no idea how long we have on this planet. And when you get to your deathbed, what are you really proud of? What are you really happy that you achieved? Are you happy that you achieved all these subscribers? Are you happy that you achieved that money? Are you happy that you achieved a great relationship with your family? Are you happy that you achieved having children or being a great auntie? It's made me think about that a lot, just being here. And I'm like, when I'm, at the end of my life, what am I going to be proud of? Like, what am I going to be so happy that I did? And I know that there's no way to know that until you're there in life. But it's a strange paradox between wanting to achieve these things, these career goals, so trying to sort of like speed up the process of being here, but at the same time being so aware that life is not forever, and I have to really think about what is going to make me happy when I'm at the end of my life. Like, what am I going to be like, wow, I'm so happy I did that. And I can probably tell you almost for a fact that when I'm at the end, I don't really think I'm going to be like, wow, I'm so happy that I rushed that family dinner so I could get on a plane and like start writing that essay. I'm really happy that I missed swimming in the pool with my friends and my family. I'm really happy I missed that so I could rush home and like edit this YouTube video. Like, I don't really think I'm going to be thinking like that, but I have no idea. But right now, I can't help it. It's like a really interesting two-sided thing that I'm going through at the moment, just between thinking about like, what am I proud of, and I need to get my ass out of here and start working on something. But also, like, my work, I'm like trying to focus a lot on YouTube, and my work is basically mobile. Like, I'm literally here in New York, upstate, and I'm talking to you guys. So yeah, it's just like such a weird, my mind is so crazy. My mind works, I think, 20 times faster than it's meant to. It just keeps trying to move on to the next thing. I find it extremely difficult to live in the present. Extremely difficult. I don't really know how people do it. And it's like kind of scary because I feel like I can literally physically feel myself wishing my life away. I know that even when I was a kid and I was like on family vacation, I would arrive to the family vacation and I would be upset by the fact that it was almost over when it had just started, you know? Like I wouldn't even enjoy my family vacation because I was like, oh, it's gonna end soon, so whatever. You'd be texting me, my mommy. Okay, anyway, oh my gosh, I'm charging my laptop. Ooh. I can't tell if the lighting is very good in here. There's like sunlight coming through the windows, but I feel a bit like, no. Also, my face is always red, okay? Before anyone says anything, my face is always pink, okay? Anyway, this is very random. I don't know if it's something to do, oh. You ever get like, it's not skin, but it's like weird bits on your lips that like stick together? Yuck. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like forever and ever I have been thinking of the next thing, wishing my life away, trying to get to the next goal. Maybe that has something to do with OCD. I know I have OCD and I have anxiety, and I feel like that's definitely an anxiety thing because you're just... I feel like people with anxiety are moving like 100 miles an hour and people with depression are moving much slower. So I feel like I'm definitely moving way too fast. And really need to learn how to be present and be in the moment. I also remember reading somewhere they said life becomes more memorable when you remember that you will never live the exact same moment twice. Ever. Even if you drive the same way to work every day, even if you stop at the same coffee shop every day, even if you go to the same job every day, even if you drive the same car every day, even if you take the same bus every day, there's going to be something about each of those moments that are completely different to the next. So I also think it's just really important to know that if you feel like you're sitting in something and you feel like time is rushing by you, just remember that you're probably never going to feel exactly the same way ever again. So to try and like appreciate what is going on. I know I'm having that a bit now, not a lot to do. I'm definitely sitting in my mind and like ruminating about like not achieving anything while I'm here. And it's kind of like, I'm never going to be here again. On this day, in this month of this year, I'm never going to be the same age sitting here. Tomorrow I'll be a different age. Tomorrow I'll feel different mentally. My brain is constantly changing and developing. I'm never going to sit here again with the exact same thoughts as I did last time. Everything is constantly changing, and you need to give yourself time to sit and recognize that and to appreciate that and to appreciate every moment because they go by so fast. And I have such a struggle with that because in my mind I'm like, oh God, like I'm here again, I've been here before, not really doing anything, I'm just sitting around. I don't know, it's strange. I just feel like I'm not appreciating the moment, and I'm really nervous that I'm going to figure out how to appreciate the moment way too late, and I should be appreciating every moment now. I understand that in your 20s, people tell me that the 20s are the hardest for that. The 20s are for when your mind is racing and trying to appreciate the moment doesn't really come about that often. And I hear from older people that when they hit like 40 or 50, that's when they really started to understand that like time is precious. But I'm like really trying not to wait that long to start appreciating things around me because that seems awfully scary to me. There's so many magical things happening in my life now, and I'm just like, why am I not sitting and just like reveling in everything that's going on? Why am I just constantly reaching for the thing that doesn't even exist yet when there's so much going on right now that I could just be grateful for and appreciating, and I'm not doing that. I'm just constantly reaching for the future, constantly. And it's like, I'll never reach the goals that I want because I will constantly be looking into the future. I'm never ever going to achieve the goals I want because those goals are going to change each time I get close to them. It's going to change. It's going to turn into something different, and I will never be able to get there. It's like sometimes I think like someone was saying to me the other day, like it will take a certain amount of time, like it will take a certain amount of years to be able to eat at every restaurant in New York City. But actually that goal is impossible because every day a new restaurant is opening. So that goal is a specific goal, but the goal is completely changing every single second of the day. A new restaurant is opening, restaurants are closing. You'll never be able to get to every restaurant in New York City in your lifetime. I don't actually think that's possible because everything is changing all the time. The goal is constantly moving further away from you because the world is changing around you. I don't know. I always thought that was like an interesting example of how a goal can sort of like be the same, but basically not be achievable. That was just like a weird example. I was just talking about that with someone yesterday, how long it would take you to eat at every New York restaurant in the world, every restaurant in New York. And then I was thinking that is impossible because New York especially, there is a different restaurant opening every single day, and then there's a restaurant closing. So when you set out for the goal, there might have been a certain amount of restaurants, but by the third week of your goal, 10 of those restaurants have closed, 15 have opened up. My goals have changed so much from what they originally were, but to me, they're just exactly the same, and I've been trying to achieve the same goals for years and years, but it's not true. Like, I guess the idea of it is the same, but the actual goal has, what is the word I'm thinking of? Has like, something. It's just changed. It's changed. Anyway, I noticed that I feel these sort of feelings, these anxious feelings of like not achieving enough, the most when I'm not talking to other people who are not even like me. I mean, everyone on this planet has a similarity with each other, but I notice that I get wrapped up in these thoughts the worst when I'm sort of just not hearing other people, I'm not listening to other people, I'm not seeing life in a different perspective, I'm just seeing my own perspective of life, and that is when my mind struggles so hard to live in the present. When I don't communicate with other people around me, or just anyone, I become so self-obsessed and I'm stuck in my mind, and I start to think that I'm the most important thing that's ever happened in this world, and every decision that I make in my life is detrimental to everything, and I can't make one wrong move, because if I do, then I've just like ruined my life, and like I am the most important thing in the world. I'm the only thing that's really happening. Like, it's so important that I make every decision correct. And so sitting around trying to like appreciate the moment isn't going to be happening for me, because I am going to be constantly thinking about the next thing that's going to be achieved, the next thing that I need to achieve, the next thing that I need to do, the next thing I need to be successful at. I will not at all be thinking like, oh, I love this moment with this family, these friends. I'm really enjoying myself right now. Like, I'm not going to be thinking about that at all. I'm going to be thinking that I have to achieve these certain things. Otherwise, I've just like wasted my life doing things that are unnecessary. It's when I understand and hear other people's perspectives on the world and other people's stories and other people's mindsets that I start to sort of come out of my own brain, which is so important, and I start to see things differently, and I start to understand that these certain aspects of success in life are not the only ones that are important, but there is like a plethora of other things that mean something, and just because you're not doing exactly what your career asks you of, like, doesn't mean you're not achieving things. It doesn't mean you're not succeeding at things. I think that's really important to remember. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just trying to like live in the moment. The one thing that I try and do sometimes, and I've definitely been slacking at it recently, but I try and do, and it's honestly so helpful, is to write a gratitude list in the morning or in the evening. Morning's kind of better because then you can like live your day on it, but you just write as many things as possible. I usually aim for like 5 or 10 things that I'm grateful for in the moment, and this can be something as small as a cup of coffee. It could be something as small as a warm sweater. It could be something like a shower. It could be anything. It could be the car that takes you from A to B. It can be the bus that you take. It could be your mom. It could be anything. And as you write those things and you understand that there are things that you have that you're not exactly entitled to any of it. You know, not everyone wakes up with a cup of coffee. Not everyone has the ability to have a warm sweater to wear when they're cold. Not everyone is able to have a warm shower to clean themselves in the morning. And those things are so important, and you are not entitled to any of those things. And I think the one thing that happens when my mind races and I'm not taking the moment in is I take everything for granted completely, because it means nothing to me in a sense. I'm just so laser focused on my career and all of that I start to just completely lose sight of how important everything around me is and how lucky I am and how much I have. So doing a gratitude list is really nice in the mornings. I try and do that as much as possible. It is hard to get into it, but once you get into a schedule, it's much better. I guess another thing I do, I just like went for a really long walk. I know that's so cliche to say go for a walk, but I honestly think like unplugging yourself for like 30 minutes and just walking around is really nice, especially if you're in somewhere that has like a little bit of nature or just like something to look at. I personally like walking around and looking at people's houses, so I just did that. Seeing other people walking around, seeing them get on with their day-to-day life, just like not sitting in my own self-obsession and just getting out there and just, you know, doing something slightly different. So yeah, I guess, I think my main thing is just like not being grateful for the things that I have already and just constantly chasing things that I don't have, and not appreciating the things that are with me right now that I can spend time with and understand and love. I want to work on that more. Like a goal of mine to just be there, be present. And if someone's telling a story that you're not really particularly interested, like try and find like the smallest thing that you can relate to, you can understand. And you'll appreciate even those small conversations with people instead of trying to like race off to the next thing. But yeah, I'm really, really trying to work into living in the present. I also think that I also get nervous about like having children, and I know how fast they grow. And I'm like, I don't want to wish away any of those moments. I don't want to think, oh God, I have to achieve this thing. Okay, great, my daughter's doing this and this, like I have to do this. Like I don't want that. So I'm like, not that I'm planning on having kids right now, but I'm just saying like, I think learning to live in the present is like a process. I don't think it can happen overnight. It's something that you have to learn to train yourself to do, and I'm really trying to do that, because just being here in New York right now, I'm really noticing that I am so like agitated and so restless, and I feel like I'm moving 100 miles an hour, but like the world is moving very, very slowly for me, especially just being right here. And so it just like really has been on my mind, just thinking like I need to slow down, I need to relax, I need to understand that there is so much around me to appreciate, and I should love everything that's happening right now. I'm safe, I'm warm, I'm happy. Like just understand that those things are so important to appreciate, because you might not always have those things as well. Like that's the other thing. It's just like the things that you are taking for granted now are not guaranteed ever. Nothing is guaranteed. So just appreciate everything that you have. I know it's so cliche to say, but it's like, I don't know, just the idea of just sort of sitting around here has really made me think about trying to appreciate everything that is going on. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys ever have these moments where you just want things to move way, way faster and things moving too slow for you? And like, what do you do to stop that from happening? I know it's really hard, but yeah, I'm just like curious what you guys do to fix it. I have like small things that help me, like writing gratitude lists and like talking to other people, but if you guys have any other ideas of like things to do, because I know that my mind is like on like fast forward at the moment, and I don't want to go home to LA and think back on being here in New York and be like, wow, I was just like I don't even remember anything that happened in New York because I was just constantly thinking about like leaving, you know? I worry about that. Yeah. I worry about how when I go back to London and see my family, sometimes I like don't even remember everything that I did, because I think that I wasn't really there mentally that much. Physically, obviously, but mentally I was just like somewhere else. And I really don't want to live my life like that. It's kind of scary, because I just want to appreciate everything, and I don't know what life is going to come at me with. So, you know, nothing is guaranteed. I don't know if life is ever going to get any better than this, and life is pretty amazing at the moment. So I just have to find ways to sit and appreciate everything that's happening. But if you guys have any tips, let me know. I am all ears. Literally, this has been my problem for such a long time, just trying to like fast forward everything. But I really love you guys, and I will see you next time. And if you guys have any suggestions on anything to talk about, let me know. I am always listening out for suggestions, so let me know if you have anything else that you want me to talk about in particular, and I'll do my best. But I love you guys, and I will see you next time. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate that if you could subscribe. It's really helpful to me, and you can know every time I post something. So yeah. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Okay. Love you. Bye.